You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Blossom, yes, Blossom. That's the only sad thing. I want to know what happens next. Right then. Doctor whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
I know these teeth. What? What? What?
Hey there, Whovians. Welcome to another episode of the Earth Station Who podcast. That's right, folks. This one's going to be an interesting one. This is our first official 60th anniversary recording, or something that's, basically tying into the 60th anniversary. We're looking at the first part of Once and Future, Past Lives, which of course has Tom Baker returning as the Doctor, a Doctor, I should say, and Sadie Miller as Sarah Jane Smith. So it's pretty awesome that we get that. And we also have some other friends that we'll be talking about in this episode. And it was a lot of fun to listen to Tom, and it's some neat things going on. And we got a great crew to talk all about it tonight. Of course, Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
And Ms. Mary Ogle. How are you, Mary?
I'm peachy keen, as somebody used to say.
That's awesome. That is awesome. It's great for all three of us to be back together, because this is the first time in over a month that we've actually, all three of us have recorded for Earth Station Who. So we're not counting that we did 2 weeks ago. We did the LGBT episode for Earth Station 1 all together.
That counts.
It counts.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
That counts a lot.
It wasn't under the Earth Station Who moniker, though. So
no.
And
people should still check it out.
Oh, very much.
Absolutely.
Episode. It's available up anywhere you can find a fine podcast, or up on YouTube. So check it out. Earth Station 1, an LGBT look at Victor Victoria, hosted by the lovely Mary Ogle. So definitely check it out.
I was just going to say, I think it's well worth listening to.
Oh, it's definitely worth listening to. It was a fun episode, and we've gotten a few comments and people thanking us for reviewing that movie and the stance we took on it and everything, which is pretty darn
That's awesome. Yeah.
Which is really, really, really awesome. So it's cool. So it's always great to talk to you guys. It was great to meet a lot of you guys at Concaster Burris. And can't believe that's almost a month ago also already. And
I can't believe the year's over, more than half over.
I know. 2023 is, right, going fast. And it's interesting too, because, I remember it just feels like yesterday. Oh, the 60th anniversary is so far away. It's not that far away.
Not anymore.
Nope. And so it's always fun to talk about some Big Finish stuff, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. And we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. Feedback at Earth Station Who is the best way to get in touch with us. And, if you haven't subscribed, to the podcast yet, please do. We would love you guys to do that. And also join our Facebook group. We have a great Doctor Who discussions. And as Doctor Who news comes out, we post it there first. So definitely keep up with it at Earth Station Who up on Facebook. It's pretty straightforward, folks. You know what? Let's jump into a little bit of Doctor Who news. I know this is pretty dated already, but we're getting an old companion back in season 14 of Doctor Who. Let's welcome back Mel. Bonnie Langford is back.
Woo! She is not one of our, I'm not sure, is she any one of ours favorite companions?
No. And that's nothing on Bonnie Langford, by the way.
No, it has nothing to do with her personally.
No, it doesn't. It's just that Mel was not my favorite companion by a long shot.
And it's interesting, too, because she got kind of hosed with Doctor Who, truthfully. You know, the whole Trial of a Time Lord thing that she got thrown into it at the very end of it. And then she got, put on hold until they brought Doctor Who back with Sylvester. And it just was not a right fit in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so her character she didn't have justice for her. And she's also one of those actors that has shined completely with Big Finish.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about this is that maybe she will get her chance to really shine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. I can't remember, I know it's just me getting old, but in Power of the Doctor, was she one of the folks in the support group?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. I was just like going, was I imagining it and just hoping all the old were there?
There are a lot of former companions in there, and I don't know how many of them, they might be sprinkled throughout the 60th anniversary season that we're getting, the specials and all that. But certainly it's confirmed that she's one of them. I don't know if this is actually BBC officially confirmed it, because most of the things that I've read and seen the pictures of her and Shooty. So she's not going to be interacting, as far as we know, with David.
Mm-mm.
She's going to be she's going to be involved with the Shooty's run.
Yes, completely.
So that's pretty interesting.
It is interesting, and it is official from BBC that she is returning. But the photos that they've released are not official. So, take it for what you will, folks. I personally think that they've been leaked, and I use air quotes on the word leaked, from, Russell T. Davies' group to keep Doctor Who in the news, pretty much. Getting excited for the anniversary specials.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Regardless of whether or not, they're officially leaking anything or unofficially leaking anything, because officially they've been like we said last time, I think, they've been announcing guest cast just almost every 2 or 3 weeks. There's someone. And I think it's a great way to keep Doctor Who in the news, to get people excited, to feel like it's still around, even if it's not on. I think it's awesome to see that they're doing that. And I don't know, I imagine that's a lot of Russell T, probably a lot of the production company, Bad Wolf, right?
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of Disney, because I can't say it's BBC because they never did this. This was not something they've done for the last 10 years or so that they've had New Who. So this is not coming from them. This is coming from a new showrunner, so to speak, a new creative team, a new marketing team, et cetera, et cetera. And whoever it is, I think it's a smart play, because you want to get excited about it. If it's gone, out of sight, out of mind, with so many other things that are happening and streaming and everything like that, it's easy to just forget.
Yep, I agree completely. We also had another announcement for a new guest coming, Mr. Mike, who is the lucky person who's going to be appearing in season 14.
Well, we have the lucky Lenny Rush is joining the cast.
Ooh. That is awesome. So tell people who don't know who Lenny Rush is, because I've never heard of him before, truthfully.
To be honest with you, I don't think I've actually seen him in anything. I know that he has won a BAFTA, which is the British equivalent of the Emmys or Oscars here in the States.
Cool.
And he's very young. He just won one. He won the BAFTA at the age of 14. So he's very young. He will be joining an episode, or we don't know exactly the extent of it, but we do know that he will be joining Shudi's doctor, not David's, Shudi's doctor. But he won the BAFTA for a starring role in something called Am I Being Unreasonable, which was a comedy program. So he won Best Male Performance in that. So apparently he's funny.
That's good. We could always use a little
Awesome.
more humor in Doctor Who. We don't want to laugh at the show. We want to laugh with the show.
Sure.
So, because we had enough of that during the Chibnall era that we
laughing at it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think it's already been established too, many times that comedians are very good at portraying dramatic situations. Like they're very good at converting over to drama when need be. I think more so than dramatic actors are, converting into comedians.
I think it's harder to go the other way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that people can't do it at all, but
No.
it's definitely harder.
Oh, very much so. Agree completely with that. So I think it's going to be a ton of fun, though. And we're looking forward to seeing what they come up with and, what kind of character he's going to be playing. It would be interesting, to have a younger companion like that, possibly traveling with the Doctor and Ruby. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want the TARDIS to get too full. So,
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I certainly, most of the people that they've announced, apart from Shudi and Millie, I hope are guest stars.
These are at least recurring.
Very
not
much
there
so.
all the time.
Right. Because, I mean, look, I know that Doctor Who, in my opinion, is in more capable hands than it was previously, but, see, I'm not gonna, we're like a few minutes in. I'm not gonna go there yet. Yet.
Right there on the tip of your tongue.
I backed off.
Your restraint is admirable.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't want to put that burden. I think Russell T and the team are smart enough to know that, like, look, the more people you have, the harder it is. So, I think he's going to spread the wealth here and just, what I really like though is that we're going to see stories that are full of casts of characters that are interesting, talented individuals, which in and of itself is exciting.
That's
yes.
True. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. And right now it's all a guessing game, folks. We don't know anything.
No.
And we're not going to try to be one of those podcasts that go, yep, well, this is what we've heard is going to happen and everything. We don't do that here. We just Chibnall bash, but we don't do the other.
Right. Yeah, we fill our time with Chibnall bashing.
Exactly.
We don't. Yeah, we know nothing.
So we might as well then, since that's most of the Doctor Who news that's coming out right now, let's jump in to the review, because this is Doctor Who, Once in Future, Past Lives, which is the first part of 8 that Big Finish is doing. The second part is actually out as of this recording date already.
Yep.
So
Artist at the End of Time.
Which is real interesting, because we have the Fourth Doctor and Sarah meeting Unit, and also the meddling monk is back.
And in the next installment, the second installment, it's the Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, actually working with his daughter. And you get a kind of a preview of that in this one, because they kind of mentioned the Doctor's daughter at the end of this one. So you kind of figure she's going to be, and I guess Colin has a little bit part. Now, in this one, obviously we're spoiling it. So for people who haven't listened to this, we are going to talk about spoilers here. But this one has voices from almost every incarnation of the Doctor at the beginning of it.
Very briefly. At
Yes,
the beginning,
very briefly.
yeah.
They have all the way through Paul McGann's Doctor. They have the voices of,
which it makes sense because it's eight Doctor. I mean, it's 8 episodes, so you figure one per Doctor.
Exactly, and the story starts in the Time War, and it's probably supposed to be John Hurt's Doctor, the War Doctor, that it starts on, because it's not any of the new series Doctors, so it's just interesting with that.
That would be a 9th Doctor.
Yep.
So they're not 9 episodes.
No.
Well, who knows how closely they're going to follow that.
But it looks like, I mean, they've come up with a concept, which I think is interesting, about the Doctor degenerating instead of regenerating. He's degenerating. So he's visiting past selves, even though he has the conscious and memories of the current Doctor, who, as Mike alluded to, is probably the War Doctor, but it might be the 8th Doctor.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
We don't know.
So, so this gives and every story is going to involve an incarnation of the Doctor, along with various companions and other cast members, mixing it all up. It's not going to be a 1-for-1 match. It's just going to mix up different characters with different Doctors, just to shake things up a bit. And I think that's an interesting concept. I mean, that's a great way to celebrate the 60th anniversary.
Well, it was interesting too, because you also got, not like Letchworth Stewart, an old unit from the 3rd Doctor and 4th Doctor era. You got modern unit in this. You got Kate Stewart and Osgood.
Yeah, that made me wonder if that was an allusion to the rumored spinoff that they are going to do, if that's somehow going to tie in to a unit spinoff.
Well, those two have been recording unit adventures for Big Finish. So
I know,
and I think
having them as part of the 60th anniversary, I find is interesting.
And everybody here is, been doing Big Finish for a while. This is the first time I'd heard Sadie portray her mother's character, Sarah Jane. And this is, I think, the first time I've heard the Meddling Monk, and he's been in a ton of Big Finish.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think, first off, Sadie did amazing. She nailed it with Sarah Jane.
I mean, as good as you could. I mean, she's very difficult to replace.
Oh, of course. But vocally, she sounds like her mom. And, of course, the writing was spot on, I thought, with Sarah Jane. I liked that a lot and everything. And it's cool they got the Sarah Jane right after the Hand of Fear, literally.
Right after she dropped off.
Moments after she's dropped off.
Exactly, which was just awesome. But it was interesting, the monk, this is the first time I've heard an audio version of the Meddling Monk. And it was interesting. I kept on hearing Mark Hamill's Joker.
I was thinking the same thing, Mike. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, they've really, I don't know if if this is a different incarnation of the monk. Because I don't recall the episode that we watched with the monk. I don't remember him being like this. So I don't know if he's regenerated within Big Finish, and this is the monk that has been around. But yeah, like I said, he's been around in a lot of Big Finish adventures.
From the research I've done, he's regenerated a couple times in Big Finish.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's only appeared, I think, in 2 different storylines.
Yeah, because officially, I mean, according to, the canon, let's say, the BBC stuff, he's not a Time Lord. Like, that episode did not firmly, officially, but everybody has sort of taken that to mean that he, to say that, yes, he is and all that. But I don't think we've ever had any official word from BBC that he's a Time Lord, but Big Finish is trying to take in the idea and run with it.
Well, he did have a TARDIS in that one storyline with, and the Doctor, it looked exactly like the Doctor's TARDIS inside. And he, put a kibosh on it that, supposedly had trapped the monk at the end of the story that we reviewed.
They never stay trapped, do they?
No, they never do. Well, he came back in I think it was either Dalek Master Plan or one of the other Dalek stories in the first Doctor era to get revenge on the Doctor. And I don't know how they ended that. So it was just interesting. And then, like I said, Big Finish has used him quite a bit.
He's one of those renegade figures that have not yet been brought into New Who.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it's just interesting. And he wasn't completely, he was a bad guy, but he wasn't the bad guy in this storyline.
Yeah, he wasn't necessarily like irredeemably evil or anything like that. It's more that he's desperate.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. He was desperate, and he had a price on his head, and he had nanobombs inside of it.
In his blood, so that would tend to motivate you.
Exactly.
You get the idea that he's mainly motivated by money, not so much power, and like the Master is motivated by power. But
yeah, he's more the charming thief trope type of character.
I don't know if I'd say charming, but I don't think I found him that charming. But yeah, he's the, I don't know, lovable rogue, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if I could.
I mean, same difference.
I don't know if I would consider him lovable though either, because to be honest with you, I don't. Overall, his performance did not make me go, "Ooh, I want to hear more Monk adventures." Apparently, he's a big character in a lot of the Missy audio adventures. So if you want to hear the Missy adventures, you're going to hear a lot of what is his name?
Rufus Hound.
Rufus Hound as the meddling monk.
But yeah, it was funny though, because I felt like he was totally channeling Mark Hamill in this.
I did too. I got that impression too. There was a few times where it just seemed like spot on.
And so it was just like, aha. So it was fun though. It really, really was fun. And it was a fun adventure. And I loved, Osgood and her collection of Doctor Who all the Doctor that she brought home and everything. And it was just
she brings her work home.
She is a fangirl.
Mm-hmm. And it's great. It's like, oh, celery. I used to use that. I love that line. And then he saw, oh, look at all these. Is that a rock band? Not entirely, sir.
Yeah, these look like rock stars.
Yeah,
nope.
Exactly.
Or she, Sarah Jane was like, these look like rock stars. No, they're incarnations of the Doctor. That is funny. Put them all together, they do kind of look like a band.
Getting the band back together.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. So it was.
What did you think of? I mean, obviously, it's nice to hear Tom, and granted, he's much older, but I still think I don't know if they de-age his voice a little bit, because there were times where he didn't sound very rough. I mean, it sounded smooth.
I was going to say that too. It sounded like they smoothed out his voice,
and
at least in parts.
It's kind of interesting because this is the first time I've heard a Big Finish. I think that started with some sort of bumper that Tom read, like "Big Finish," where stories come. I don't know what
that was so awesome. That was so awesome.
I thought that they kind of missed an opportunity, because at the end, I think Tom's last line is "Who knows," and I thought he was going to repeat it by saying like "Who knows," but he didn't, and I was like, "Oh man!"
It's like, why am I touching my nose? It's not a video podcast.
But he does utter my favorite line in the story, which is after Unit kind of explains their procedures about what to do with the Black Archives should an alien force, or should humans be destroyed or something like that. The Doctor says, "How ingeniously stupid."
Yes, I love that. I love that too, because it is ingeniously stupid. It's like you're keeping all this dangerous technology. Well, I walked in here, and you think nobody can walk in here?
I thought this place was supposed to be TARDIS proof. Obviously not.
But it's interesting because Tom's playing the Fourth Doctor in a way, but he's also got some memories that the current Doctor has. So he's got all the memories, I guess, of all the other incarnations after him, although it doesn't really come up that often. But the storyline that they kept referring to with him and Sarah Jane with the Hyreth, I was like, did I miss something? Like, I don't remember this story at all. And apparently it's the one that still hasn't been told. So it's a off the book story, not one of their episodes or anything like that. It was something that I guess maybe they'll do at some point, or maybe not. Who knows? But it was just something that, and that was okay. I mean, I kind of felt like if the 60th anniversary, if you're like, it would be okay if they referenced another Big Finish story, in addition to an actual, BBC story as well. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I found the Hyreth actually that interesting by themselves.
Yeah. No, I don't. See, I think that's kind of where it fell apart. Like, I was enjoying this audio until they got to the ship, and then the scenes on, and then it just kind of falls apart and it starts dragging. And it's too bad because it's enjoyable, I think, up until that time. But I think it's what you were. I agree with what you're saying. The Hyreth just aren't that interesting as villains, and it's tied up very neatly and very conveniently.
It was almost too easy, when the was restoring them, and it basically was, oh, this is the end of their life cycle. They're all dying.
Yeah, it seemed like it was I mean, we've kind of seen this play out with the Solarians before, right? And other things like,
it's very similar.
Yeah, they have to be woken up and they'll take over the world and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just didn't seem like it was breaking new ground. And then there was no surprise. I mean, I felt that they kind of gave us the ending really too early there was no suspense in my mind. I was like, yeah, they're going to wake up and die. That's what the one did when it attacked them at Unit. And I saw no reason why the others wouldn't do that too. And the Doctor, I don't know, I guess he didn't say it to anybody because that would have, ruined the surprise for listeners. But I kind of felt like also it was a little bit callous of the Doctor as well to, I know he didn't press the button to wake them up and he, quote unquote, tried to stop them, but really, he pretty much allowed a whole race to go extinct. And then I think someone asked about it. I think Sarah Jane or something calls him on it. And he says something about like, oh, they're just some enemies that don't deserve to live or something like that. And I was like, where does that come from?
That doesn't sound like the Doctor at all.
Right.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but it just seemed kind of callous to me.
Yeah, he basically says, "Well, they all deserve to die anyway." So
yeah, and the fact that ship has been over that town for like a century or whatever it's been, it's like, yeah, that I'm not buying that. That's too long.
Yeah. You don't believe there's a cloak ship over Glastonbury?
the festival or the town?
I love that. I love that line.
I did like that line too.
Oh,
and that's very specific.
And Jenna was awesome as Lester Stewart, as she was awesome.
Yeah, Stewart and Osgood have great chemistry.
Yeah, they were great.
And it was nice seeing them in the story, and it worked really well all the way around. And they worked well with Tom, which was great. And it was interesting because I was listening to the interviews afterwards, and Tom was like going, it's hard to tell with himself now where he ends and the Doctor begins. And
I think it always has been.
Yeah. That's not new.
I am Doctor Who.
And which was awesome. And I just loved his reaction to everything. And he was great in it. And it was neat because it was like, and when he first saw Sarah and the Doctor, and she's like, Doctor, and he says, oh, hello, Sarah. She's like, you're acting like you haven't seen me in so much time. And it's like, it's been many regenerations. And Then she goes, "Oh, for me, it's just been a couple minutes."
Yeah.
It's like, the problems with travel, Sarah. So that was awesome.
Do you think that any of this is going to tie in to the 60th anniversary specials, or is this basically just throwing us off?
No, this is just Big Finish, I think, doing their own thing. I think that's what they've done. That's what they did for the 50th. That's what they've done all along. I don't think they, from what I gathered from the writing and of it and looking at behind the scenes, this thing has been planned out at Big Finish. Russell T and them have nothing to do with any of this. So I don't think this is going to affect one way or another anything that happens with the David Tennant specials or Shudi's run for that matter.
It's interesting too, because I agree with that. And I think they're just doing it to throw you off a little bit because, the Doctor technically degenerated.
Yeah. And obviously they are celebrating, even though they haven't had the property for 60 years. They've had it for quite some time. I don't know how long. I don't know exactly when they started doing it, but, almost all the characters in this and all the ones that I'm looking at in the next few storylines that they've announced so far are all characters that they've worked with, have their own adventures, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it seems like it's a way to play off their own Doctor Who universe of characters and things rather than the official BBC stuff.
I agree with that. Agree with it too. It's like celebrating because they've been doing it, since the late 90s now.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know exactly what year. I would imagine that at some point, if that anniversary comes up, they'll want to celebrate it as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think it's pretty cool, folks. I definitely do. So any final thoughts on this one, or do we want to just go ahead and rate this one?
Well, I guess the big question is how eager are you or we to continue all 8 of these? The second one is out, Artists at the End of Time with the 5th Doctor primarily. And then that's followed this month in July with A Genius for War. I think that is with Collins. Is that right? That is with, Sylvester's.
Sylvester, okay.
And then August we have Two's Company, which is Colin again. And there's various other characters, of course, that are popping up. Rose's mom is in the 4th episode. Looks like Michelle, what's her name? Michelle
Gomez?
No, she was in one of the David Tennant specials with the bus.
She was the Bionic Woman. I know.
Yeah. Looks like she might be popping up in the
Lady
4th
Christina
episode.
is coming back.
Yeah. But it also looks like Harry is in that one too. So
interesting. I wonder who they'll have playing him. Because I know his character has popped up a couple times.
In this one, you do get to hear the Big Finish versions of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Doctors. It is, what are they going to do? They obviously they had to replace them, so they've chosen the voices. That this is the voices that they're working with. But it is weird hearing these characters voiced by different people. It doesn't really, I had to really concentrate and be like, okay, which Doctor is this? And I only got it by what they were talking about rather than their voice.
Yeah, it can get confusing.
The only one I recognized was Sylvester's because the way he rolls is.
But I mean, are we hooked? Are we planning to board the whole train, all 8 episodes, or either off air or as part of the show?
I might off the air, probably, but I want to see where it goes, and if it just blows me away, we'll probably be revisiting it.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it because I liked about half of this, and then it kind of let me down, and so it left me not as excited about the next one.
I could understand that.
Though, I have found Big Finish can sometimes be very inconsistent within a series.
Yes.
So you can get some really good ones and some not so good ones.
Yeah, I haven't really got down, we've listened to most of what we listen to, I think, on this show, and me personally, is the River Song Diaries. And so those are inconsistent with themselves, like within a whole, like, set.
Within their own set,
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, some of the doctors do it for me more than others. The premise of this, though, is that, of course, he's shot at the beginning during the Time War. He doesn't know who shot him. He believes that the monk was there. And, he's trying to find out. First of all, he's trying to stop the degeneration. And it sounds like in the next one, he goes forward a little bit. So I guess he's inching closer and closer to his current incarnations with the Peter Davison one coming up next. I'm curious, it's like, they're relatively, if you buy them one by one, like one a month or whatever, it's relatively like it's $12, right? So it's not really that a lot to ask for. Obviously if you add it all up in your head, and they do offer a bundle that you can get for like $70 some to download them all. That is, too much for me to buy for a whole set. But yet, if I buy them individually, it's going to end up to be even more. So it's weird. It's one of those things that I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm curious. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably buy the next one because it's not, I find it unfair to just judge by one, how the rest of the series is going to go. So I will probably at least eventually buy the next one and see if it, and the quality goes up.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, Peter Davison kind of interests me, especially dealing with his real life daughter acting wise. I don't know if they've done that before, so that's intriguing to me. I've never been a huge fan of the John Nathan Turner era, so the next two with Sylvester and Colin are not ones that I consider that I'm too excited about. But the ones they haven't announced yet, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I imagine those are going to have folks like River Song, the Eighth Doctor, Paternoster Gang, et cetera, maybe even Frasier, being part of that as well, and some of the other companions. And that will excite me. So I think, even though they started off with a bang, and then they go with a couple doctors I'm not too excited about. But I get a feeling like by the time that it ends, 6, 7, and 8, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I want to hear those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a huge Peter Davison fan either. However, my favorite Big Finish is Spare Parts and it's Peter Davison.
Right.
So
no, I agree completely with that.
You just never know. I mean, it depends more on the writing.
So definitely, would you guys recommend this one to our listeners?
I'd recommend the first one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would. I would say it's worth listening to.
Yeah, if you want to celebrate the 60th anniversary before David Tennant special startup, this is not a bad way to go about it. No. So far, I mean, the opening story, Past Lives, is a thumbs up for me.
No, agreed. So definitely give it a listen, folks. We definitely would love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you thought. Feedback at ourstationwho.com. So that is going to wrap up this episode, folks. So this was a nice one. It's nice to get back with these two wonderful people, and it's always great to talk more Doctor Who with you guys. And as we like to say, the anniversary is getting closer and closer. So definitely check it out. So with that being said, thank you for listening. If you get a chance, please subscribe. Please tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We're available wherever fine podcasts are found. A little bit of note, if you are listening to us on Stitcher Radio, Stitcher is going away. We got a notice that as of August 29th, Stitcher is going to be discontinued. We are now up on Pandora, though, and you could find us up there in its place. So definitely, if you're a Pandora listener, you can now find Earth Station Who up there. So definitely check it out. And of course, everywhere else, fine podcasts are found. Our Station Who is there. So definitely check it out. If you get a chance, please check out our TeePublic store, where we have a brand new coming probably by the time this goes live, we will have a new wibbly wobbly timey wimey t-shirt going up, and it's going to be tons of fun. So we definitely would love you guys to check that out. You can just go to TeePublic and check out the ESO network, and that t-shirt will be in there, or you can go to the top of the Earth Station Who website or the ESO network website and click on the TeePublic link. Fairly simple, folks. Also, if you get also a chance and want to support us, please go to Patreon. And you know what? ESO Network has a Patreon, and that also helps support Earth Station Who. It keeps the lights on and right above us. So it's awesome, and keeps the cameras rolling, as we like to say. And for as little as $1 a month, you too could help the ESO Network. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/ESO Network. All right, folks, that's it. I want to thank Mr. Mike. As always, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
And as always, it's my pleasure.
Anything you need to shout out about or anything, sir?
No, I mean, like I said, I think people should check out. We had a lot of fun talking about Victor Victoria, the three of us on the Earth Station 1. And, you know, we're discussing all the big summer movies over there as well. So check us out. Either we have a YouTube channel as well. You can actually see our smiling faces.
Damn straight. Damn straight. It's interesting. I was about to use air quotes when you said big summer movies, because there hasn't been any huge ones other than Spider-Verse. So it'll be very interesting, but we're having fun watching these movies and talking to you guys about it. So it's pretty cool. And Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you as always.
Oh, thank you. Another great one to talk about.
Anything you want to promote or shout out?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Excellent, folks. Until next time, my name's Mike Faber. We will see you here on Earth Station Who. Peace, and we will talk to you soon. And let's go off and chase the meddling monk in our TARDIS.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talent from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Keep asking, are we back? Yeah, I guess we're back. Back to talk about cigars, movies, TV shows, and any other nerdy topics here on the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and esonetwork.com. And we have a YouTube channel at Cigar Nerd Podcast, where we do cigar reviews, live versions of the show, and any other dumb thing we think to record.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.